you know you're high, it's all on you, cause you the show shine. Let's get up, look around, everybody see what's going down. Fellas on the side, if you're on the wall, throw them dollars in the air, show me how you fall. Listen closely, so your attention's undivided. On the count of 3, I want the club divided. But just the way I came off, man, I'm gonna come off, man. Make it pop off, then what you wanna do? Wait, niggas wanna drink tonight. A few Apple Mars, I can't think tonight. See me hitting on you, cause I got a buzz. It ain't even round 2, this is Punch Drunk Club. Understand the man behind the movement. Ace up, league in the back, about to hit the place up. Mommy, stay low, don't pick your face up. League got the bar, all my niggas is laced up. Come through 36 trucks outside. It's all in the day's work, keep it fly. Hypno got you speeding, mommy, work it back out. But keep it on the low, I'm about to black out. Let's get up, look around, everybody see what's going down. Ladies in the back, if you know you're high, it's all on you, cause you the show shine. Let's get up, look around, everybody see what's going down. Fellas on the side, if you're on the wall, throw them dollars in the air, show me how you
She said she heard me representing on the radio. She wants some tickets to a Northern League disco. She had a fly belly shirt stating Crystal. Put me by my side and asked me for my info. This bird brain pulled out a pencil. Licking her lips, I could tell she wasn't info. Said she got a half an hour for her ride leaves. We can duck away, she promises she'll bless me. She was working her little pumps like some jet skis. Watch out, here I come, bustin' like a 4 Uptown